speculative issue is Bitcoin. I mentioned that 125 retest, $125,000 retest in Bitcoin was problematic for the market because this was a significant psychological number, but also the retest of the previous high. If I now take this market, and I mentioned that the market would go, we mentioned earlier, we have a perfect illustration of a market that shows selling. Take my line across, 3-time retesting. The market comes off. These two bars here are a kiss of death right here. Right, this is not an absorption process, it's bearish. So it's a retest. We're not going to buy the first retest anyhow, but break, and the closes are really important on tests, the secondary test, because if they're high-end closes, they're absorption. If they're low-end closes, then obviously they have reverse absorption, that we can get, right? Well, in this case, the low-end closes are like the more marked down to the market. I got to count this market back down to around the 95 level area it was. Okay, 85 area. So go down. Look at the selling bars here and the volume. We're not going to buy this potential move here because it's come to weakness. But we get selling. Okay. Weak rally. Look at the volume drop off here. So it's got to punch back. A weak rally. There's no volume here. Weak rally after selling. It's a bear flag. You call it. Right? Selling off. Tries to attempt a rally. But what are we looking for? Where's our edge to sell? That's right. High volume bar. Take that across. Boom. The edge here will because we're coming from a retest of a selling bar, right? This retest should be, you don't know if it's going to go up here, should be sold a little closer. Stop, then becomes above here. You begin to make new lows, you move your stop. I showed you the reverse trend line getting up the area today. We'll see if it holds. But the speculative issues of the stock market will affect money flow to market, right? Where money's going to go to the market. So we've gone through the monthly, weekly, daily, 240. Stocks getting weaker. There's some more speculative issues. Bitcoin is a speculative issue. Not many people have relative to the population, trade-wise. So, along with the H2O market, these people want to be in cash in case the market collapses. Not only quarter something like that here, but the speculative issue still. Okay. So, low-end closes on the right-hand side is bearish. Low-end closes that don't produce volume on the upside become bearish as well. This market's telling you a story which hasn't begun yet. We can, the market is showing strength and weakness, comparative strength, comparative weakness in the market. Very important. So our Bitcoin is speculative issues that have been liquidated a long, long time ago, right? What you can see is the October retest. First one was October. So weakness begets weakness to the market. You see that behavior. I'm seeing the market now. What these do is you slow down markets down. Let's try it now. Those markets are bearish. Yeah, actually, depending on the quality of the volume and price range. Bearish. So to the market, so we're back. I apologize for that. Flicker real quickly, shoot back. Weakness in Bitcoin, the speculative issue, bearish. Background bearish. It's very important because when they're in cahoots with each other, bonds, the euro currency, everything else, it's a lot easier to make decisions. So in this case, when these correlate, you can say, well, that's bullish, that's bearish, but the more information you have on one particular side will allow you to have a better understanding of what's going on in the market. So those are speculative nature of the market, and I really want to bring it across to you because as we go through time, and what our markets do it could be one particular market that makes a big difference. But when all markets start to do that, then it becomes a major issue to the market. Which is why I want to do the webinar today, because if we get that supply in any of these markets, the downside, it could go a long way from these markets are correct. So understand that everything is working in money. Think about wealthy institutions or people. They tend to go for money flow, and they tend to go for a particular yield of money. They go to a place where they can make money, right? They get to a point where they can make money. So they will conduct a comparative speaking, so comparing market-wise of how the markets are going. If gold is decoupled from silver, it may not mean a lot, right? For a while, it does mean something, but economy-wise, when they all step out at the same time, which gold and silver has, which charges centuries, it's something in which, again, watching money flow the market, especially the trade range right inside, you see the absorption and reverse absorption. So money flow to markets, it could be out of whack for a day or two. If it starts getting out of whack for several weeks, for a long time, that those bars are intended to give a CM. Very critical. Don't catch falling knives in markets. You may feel that you may want to lighten up. It's up for the market, but it won't get you long. So make sure you have everything lined up. Right now, things are lining up a little bit negative in the markets. Be very, very cautious to what happens. Okay, so it's a money flow thing. And if Bitcoin, if we connect the lows earlier, look at that. So we see a shorter down. The first time, Bitcoin may get a little bit of a rally from here. Depending on the quality of the rally, will determine if we're going to retest back up the top of the range, or the market's going to fail maybe halfway back of this range. So that's what buying is overcome selling, but the major report is the retest. So you know, a retest of an upthrust. And now the market begins to make new lows. That retest becomes significantly important to the markets because it was reactionary high first they sold into it. Money flow, important. We all get together, important. When 2001, the Trade Center, I was watching it. I with gold, silver, crude oil, bonds, stocks, they all fed upon the news that way. So money flow, market action. What the market's missing right now is that supply comes to market, which may be coming sooner or later. It can happen now, or it could do the reverse absorption for a while and then do it. The volume should be heavier on the downside. It generally is. But then the supply comes in. If they can market down, a lot of people still staying long. They'll try to go slowly to bleed people out of money, right? Slowly grind lower. Decision. When you take out the bad real quickly with selling climax, you know the market may size for a while, but it's going to be. So critical to see the story markets. Many people don't believe that, but since wyckoff is a bigger comparative weakness, I do. You know, because I don't think a lot of people understand the spreads that go on. So I think that's the reason why I'm following the situation. Very, very important. The transfer risk of money, not by one company or one commodity, almost 30 of them. Very important. So when the red bars and the larger bars go down, saying that generally happens with stocks. That's when humans will be more different, more difficult. Drifting lower of markets make people make the keen eye starts to get out. The other one say that the market will slowly go lower. It's tightening it down with spreads going to rally. That's not necessarily true. Yeah. So money flow, because we'll do more on that, but money flow becomes a major issue to the CM work because of the story.